Howdy everyone, this is Grakef. So, got a failed destroyer playthrough here at first. I'm finally refining my technique, and what gets me on this one is just the massive amount of eyes and failing to dodge yet again. So, I do fairly well, I think, considering. But anyways, so that's why this one's playing through. And yeah, so I hope everyone's doing well. You have a moment here, go ahead and leave a like. If you aren't, go ahead and consider subscribing as well. And leave a comment. What's your favorite mechanical boss? I'd have to say that mine is probably the twins. I'm not a fan of the worm fights, so Destroyer is probably my least favorite. Skeleton Prime is what it is. Alright, here we go, Destroyer again. So this is what ends up being the winning success for me. Using some of the alchemist potions and holy arrows, I believe is what I'm using here. They might be jester arrows. But some combination, either holy arrows or jester arrows. And that is the winning combination for all three mechanical bosses. I also use that to help control the eyes, which was a problem for me in the last one. And I do fairly well. So the potions don't make it super easy for me, but it was definitely easier than the last couple of playthroughs. This bow that I'm using here is the stone bow, which I got from farming hallowed mimics. I got a couple of upgraded items from both the hallowed mimics and the corrupted mimics, though this bow being probably the most significant of that. Yeah, it's much easier with a huge wailing of arrows, and that's the destroyer. Okay, on to the twins. Same tactic. This time I triple up on the buffs. Yeah, triple up on the buffs. I'd had problems with the twins a couple times, but this is a successful kill. I'd also built a longer platform here, and this tactic seems to work pretty well for me. I have a lot of issues with the turnaround. As you can see right here, I'll take a bunch of damage trying to get turned around. I believe it's the tanking potion. I probably could have foregone that. I don't have to use a health potion at all during the next two fights, and it probably made it a little bit too easy. I'm trying to focus on Spasm for what it's worth, but you'll notice that I actually end up hitting Renzar a lot more, so I changed focus to Renzar to try and take him out first, and then change over to Spasm. Alright, and that's one. I'll wait for the other one to catch up here. And two in just a bit. So yeah, this, like I say, the bow, huge difference, and then using those alchemist potions was probably my final key to success. With that said, with all that buffing up, the next couple of fights are going to be humbling. So last one here, Skeletron Prime. This was probably the easiest of the three mechanical bosses with this bow, which is interesting because from what I read, this bow is supposed to absolutely destroy the destroyer, and it didn't seem to be the case, at least for me, but it really does make Skeletron super easy. I just use the run around in circles tactic for Skeletron, and I'm not even dodging his arms really, and I think, like I say, that's a portion that comes down to that tanking potion. I probably will avoid it in the future, but I'd also done these fights 4 or 5 times each, so I was ready to be done with them as well. Continue raining down, I'm not even really focusing, I'm just trying to get the arrows in the general area of him, and it seems to work pretty well. And there we go, that's the three mechanical bosses. Alright, Old One's Army Part 2. Unfortunately, this is not a successful fight, though I do give it a run for its money, make it to Wave 4. The tactic I found is, again, nail them down with the storm bow, and just kind of change sides as they get closer and closer, and then go gather the mana to work on the towers. What ultimately is my downfall is the Wyverns, yet again. It just isn't a great tower, at least as far as I know, for the Wyverns. That would help me a bunch, is just to have something to concentrate on the Wyverns while I take out the army itself. Wave 1, 80% right now, and it goes really easy. Especially once I kind of decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to switch side to side. And there's the complete for Wave 1. Go and gather the mana. A little bit of dilly-dally here. I was trying to collect up enough mana and I didn't end up with enough. And I also, while the wave was complete, I didn't kill all the monsters. So that cost me a little bit of health there on the tower. So I decided to do 2 lightning auras on this side, and then I'll focus most of my attack on the left side for Wave 2. So Wave 2 adds kobolds and I believe the javelins, and the taller goblins. Not a huge threat on Wave 2, but 3 and 4 I take a bit of damage from the kobolds, though the Wyverns do a bulk of the damage. And this is actually an upgraded fight now. So since this is past the mechanical boss, this is a different fight than what you do in pre-hard mode. And so that's why I'm struggling here, because the monsters have now been upgraded. So, and then you'll notice there it says Solar Eclipse is happening. I didn't notice that text. So after this fight, we'll actually jump right into the Solar Eclipse. Luckily, if you have the Old One's army going, that overwrites. Yeah, you can see those kobolds running in there. I take a little bit of damage there. But as I was saying, the Old One's army overwrites any of the other events, which, lucky for me, that was helpful, because these trying to do this and the Solar Eclipse would have been horrendous. Okay, so that's Wave 2. Just making sure I get the cleanup this time. Going to lay down a couple more electrical auras. 1 on that side, 3 on this side. And the 3 on the right side actually do a fairly good job. It's just the Wyverns from the right side. And as you can see, they're already starting to stack up some damage on me, as well as the crystal. I don't know if standing off to the side would have been a little bit better, but it did help me focus to try and make sure I was taking out the Wyverns. Yeah, the left side gets to be a little bit more difficult on this wave, and again, as I mentioned, those kobolds are going to start being an issue for me. I should have balanced it out a little better, maybe done 2 and 2, but it still wouldn't have been enough. I just need better anti-Wyvern defenses, which in Dungeon Defenders, the Flame Burst is excellent versus Wyverns. I don't know what the particular tower is for Terraria, though, for versus Wyverns. So that's Wave 3 complete. And on to Wave 4. There's nothing particularly bad about this, other than, again, the Wyverns. And they're going to be the ones that get me. Continue the same tactic as before. This time I'm trying to focus a little bit to watch for the Wyverns in the sky, because if I put the storm bow shooting over them, I can catch them before they get to the tower, but sometimes they'll sneak through like that one, and by the time they charge, the damage is done. So each one of those charges just ticks away at me and ticks away at the crystal. Also at this point taking a little bit more damage from the kobolds as well as the dragon creatures. When they get a little bit closer, they will shoot a fireball or something towards me. Right now I'm just completely concentrating on just surviving this wave and not doing a great job. Yeah, there comes in the kobolds. Those two did quite a bit of damage. You can see there, just bouncing around here trying to stay alive, and there's my death, and then eventually the crystal's death. Alright, and on to the solar eclipse. This is in progress. I didn't realize what was going on. I was like, oh, this is cool. Got a boss fight. What's going on? Had never seen this event before, and totally decimates me. So I'll leave you with to watch this, and I'll be back towards the end to do the outro. Alright, so you made it to the end. Thank you for viewing this. Really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, remember, like, dislike, helps me know that I'm doing a good job. And then leave a comment. I appreciate hearing from all my viewers. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Hopefully you enjoy this episode. 3 great fights, and then 2, well, some rooms for improvement for the next episode. And I'm going to focus on that, trying to figure out what I can do better for the Old One's army, and then the solar eclipse. And then also, now Plantera's opened, as well as, I believe, Golem. And the dungeon should have new stuff, I think. Anyway, so lots of potential for the next episode. Remember, love is love, stay safe, and have a great day. This is Grakef, signing off.